Hey guys, Darth Revan here and welcome back to another video. Today is going to be the second episode of this kind of Origins series that I'm doing of Star Wars characters. In this video I'm going to be kind of going through the backstory to Darth Revan, who is obviously the playable character in the game Knights of the Old Republic 1. So yeah, I'm just going to dive straight into his story here. So he was a human, and he was found in the Outer Rim territories by the Jedi Order, and he became the apprentice to the Jedi Master Kreia. He was the most promising Padawan. Him and his friend Malik were annoyed at the inactivity of the Jedi during the Mandalorian Wars. So what Revan decided to do was defy their orders by starting the Revankist movement, which they were kind of like these Jedi crusaders who broke away from the Jedi Order to help the Republic fight the Mandalorians. So in the process, he became the supreme commander of the Republic's military. But basically, they used dark side practices to help push back the Mandalorians. And by doing this, they saved countless worlds, but they also compromised their morality to do so. So an example of this is on Malachor 5, Revan defeated the Mandalorian leader, Mandalore the Ultimate, and ordered the activation of the Mass Shadow Generator superweapon. Now, this is also the same weapon that affected Darth Nihilus. If you watch my previous backstory video on him, this super weapon destroyed the planet, and basically everyone on the planet was kind of either they either died or were severely affected by the radiation and effects that it caused. But basically, it won the war for the Republic. So it was an important step in Revan's kind of ascension to hero status. So him and his friend Malik were hailed by the Republic. But what they decided to do is they wanted to investigate a mysterious Sith influence that was apparently behind the war. So what happened was they discovered a secret Sith empire in the unknown regions and went to investigate it. But they ended up being brainwashed by the Sith Emperor Vitiate. Now, he ordered them to find the Star Forge, which, if you don't know what that is, basically like this giant shipyard that was capable of building really powerful armies. So they broke free of his mind control, and they used the two lads, Malak and Revan, they used the Force to create their own Sith Empire. And what they wanted to do was basically take over the galaxy with this new empire. So they returned to the galaxy and they fought against the Jedi and the Republic in the Jedi Civil War. And Revan almost succeeded in this if it weren't for Malik, who actually betrayed him and ordered his own men to fire at Darth Revan's flagship. So the ship was destroyed. Basically, it was in pieces, but Revan survived, although he was critically injured. And basically, he was found by the Jedi Bastila Shan, who healed him by using the Force. He was brought before the Jedi Council, who decided to erase his memory and retrain him as a Jedi Knight, like he was once a Jedi Padawan before he fell, and they kind of wanted to bring him back. So he fell in love with Bastila, who helped him, helped heal him and stuff. And he made many allies on his journey to once again locate the Star Forge, as he was ordered to do so by the Jedis. Malik, who was on the Star Forge at the time, found Revan and his team on the Star Forge and revealed to Revan his true identity as the Dark Lord of the Sith. He then captured Bastila and corrupted her to the dark side. Now, Revan had one last chance to take over the Star Force, so as his last desperate attempt, he led the remaining Republic fleet against the Star Forge, and he managed to redeem Bastila back to the light side, and he battled Malik one-on-one, and eventually he killed him, and he destroyed the Sith Empire that he had once created but didn't remember creating. So after this, he married Bastila and he lived in peace until he had these visions from his past, so all of his memories kind of started to come back to him. And he remembered Vitiate's Sith Empire, the first Sith Empire that he had investigated. So alongside his former protege, Mitra Surik, who I touched on a little bit in my last video about Darth Nihilus, she's basically the player character in Knights of the Old Republic 2, which is the sequel to the first game that Darth Revan is very prominent in. And he also had the Sith Lord Scourge by his side too. So basically the three of them attempt to assassinate Vitiate. However, Scourge betrayed the two of them. As we know, you can't trust the Sith Lord. And he helped Vitiate to imprison Revan in stasis, and he killed Mitra Surik. So when Revan was in stasis, he was basically tortured for 300 years, which obviously doesn't sound great. But he also, while he was being tortured, he decided to wage a telepathic war against the Sith Emperor using the Force. And he eventually escaped the captivity and created an army to fight the Empire, but he was struck down by an Imperial strike team. However, this torture kind of led to his dark side being twisted, and it almost rejected the death that his body faced. So his dark side was still there. And it really sought revenge on the Sith Emperor, who had basically caused him to die. So Vitiate had recently died, but his spirit was still lingering around in the world. So what Revan wanted to do was resurrect the Sith Emperor and then permanently destroy him. So almost like take his spirit, bring it back to his body so that he could destroy him for good. However, on the planet Yavin 4, the dark side of Revan and his followers, the Revanites they were called, were faced by a coalition of Imperial and Republic forces who had basically teamed up to take on the dark side of Revan with his light side. And they managed to defeat the dark side of Revan and merge both the dark side and the light side into one, and brought peace to the Force, basically. And then this reunified Revan helped to destroy the Sith Emperor's body for good. And yeah, that was basically the life of Darth Revan, who he was, what he did. And I think his story is definitely an interesting one, because he's one of these people that, obviously we see that Sith Lords redeem themselves and come back to the light side, but what he did is he started out on the light side, was corrupted by the dark side, and then came back to the light side and fought for them again. So he kind of not necessarily switched alliances, because he obviously had his memories erased and didn't really know that he was a Sith Emperor when he joined the light side for the second time. But it's an interesting story to see how he was a hero but also a villain, and he was a Jedi Knight but also a Sith Lord and then a Jedi Knight again. So I think it's a very interesting story, and I'm very glad that he was recently canonized by Disney, which I think he definitely deserves to be. So yeah guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and comment down below if you want me to do the backstories of any of your favorite characters, or if there's any games you would like me to play. I've been thinking about maybe doing a walkthrough of the Knights of the Old Republic to kind of match with these videos, because I'm going through the characters' backstories and stuff like that. So yeah, mind yourself guys, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks.